Making a grip is an example of functional strength where we activate our core while making a grip to exponentially increase our strength. We accomplish this by tightening our stomach muscles as we grip to connect everything to our body. Karate teaches us how to increase functional strength to profoundly improve stability, balance, and mobility, and here's how. It's by training with the exaggerated stances of karate, which requires a lot of core effort, a lot of core activation to move properly. So without the core, we're just not able to move from these exaggerated stances. So this is our training level. This would be our fighting level. And then we still have this foundation that we built, but we're gonna fight like this, which is like taking the weight off a baseball bat. And then daily activities even more so. We still have that foundation to do anything, really, for that matter. Let's get started. We'll end with a quintessential stretch and some key points. I'm going to come at you with 4 moves. Let's take it slow and easy by starting in a natural stance. Bend your knees, tighten your stomach muscles, have a little bit of air out of your lungs, and just kind of feel that pushing down. Your feet can be slightly turned in, and your hands here. We're going to do a down block, punch, rising block, punch, and then the magic is going to happen when we come back to this stance. So follow along, take notes. I'm going to do 3 at one speed, 3 at another, and 3 a little bit faster, and then you could do it at your own speed. Typically you might do 8, 8, and then 8, but I'm just going to, for demonstration purposes, and then do it on your own afterwards if you like. But air halfway out of the lungs, or half the air out of the lungs, stomach muscles tight, and just kind of sink down, knees bent, and in this good stance, we're just going to go down block in a big stance, punch, rising block, and punch. Now when you do the rising block, don't go away like this, but just stay engaged right in there. And then punch. Now when we come back, we don't want to push with this foot. We want to just kind of use our stomach to come back. Let's go with the right side. So down block, sink down. I don't have shoes on too because it's going to give our feet a little workout as well. So down block, punch, rising block, punch, and then the most important part is come back, use that core. Let's do 2 more at this speed, but let's add at the end of each movement, have a good end point. Tight here, loose everywhere until that end point. We want to kind of lock it out and then back to loose, but always maintain the tightness here. So down block, punch, rising block, and punch, and then exaggerate this. Just tighten that stomach and back. And you're back. Let's go 1, good stance. And don't get too crazily hung up on the technique. It's all about the core. We can always improve our technique. But again, a big front stance, this hand back, and this hand blocking, definitely keeping your elbow bent. Punch, turns over at the end, and it locks out, so you're not going to hyperextend your elbow, and you're just connecting everything to everything. And then a rising block and a punch and back. And then down block, punch, rising block, and punch. Again, that end point of tight and then back to loose. And then up. 1 more. Down block, punch, rising block, punch, and back with that core. And block, punch, and back. Let's speed it up just a little bit. We're not going to speed up a lot, just a little bit, but focus now on that end point. So we're relaxed, tight, sink down, we're ready, and block, punch, and back. Block, punch, and back, block, punch, block, punch, back. Let me slow it down a little bit. Block, punch, block, punch, back, and a little more technique with the block, punch. Sink that in there, and the block comes up and just locks right there, and punch, and core, and block, punch, block, punch, and that was 3 of those. Let's speed it up a little bit to half speed and just really focus on that end point. So we're tight, we're loose, air out of the lungs a little bit to half. Ready, and 1, 2, 3, 4. And just feel that you can get a stretch on here and back. 1, 2, 3, 4. And back. And then shake it off a little and just really feel that core. And 1, 2, 3, 4. And back. 1, 2, 3, 4. And back. One more. Let's make this really good. Still a half speed, but just ultra mega smooth. Don't hyperextend anything ever, including the punch. You want to turn that punch over and not be totally straight, but a little bit bent in the elbow so you don't hyperextend. But ready, one more. Let's make this the best. Still half speed, but everything crisp, and just make it up, make it count. Have that end point tight and loose. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. And back, and 1, 2, 3, 4. And back. And what we did right there was train our core in a new way to move with these exaggerated stances, and that improves our motion a lot in just an everyday activity kind of stance. Let's finish up with a stretch. That's really important, but the most important part of this stretch, I shouldn't say the most important part, but a very important part of this stretch is how we're going to end it. And I'll show you what I mean. So you want to straddle, push, and then this would be more of a static stretch where we're not going to bounce at all. We just want to be super gentle, stretch, not to the point of pain, just to the point of stretch, hold, and that way when we release the stretch, it's not going to come back and we're not going to damage anything. So just gently grab whatever you can reach. Keep your back relatively straight and just kind of hold that for, I'll do it for 5 seconds, but ideally 30 seconds. 15 seconds is good, but if you can stretch and gently hold that for 30 seconds, then go to the left, gently, gently, gently stretch and hold. 30 seconds is ideal, but if you're not a big stretcher, just go for 15 seconds. Stretch, no bouncing, and don't go to where it hurts, because then your body fights that and you're actually going to result in the opposite of stretching. So gently, gently, gently hold that. Again, 30 seconds is ideal. And then go to the right. Hold that for 30 seconds if you can. But again, keep it ultra gentle. And then you could top it off with coming over the top, grabbing under your calf, and then the other side as well. And you're just getting different areas of this whole complex. Then to finish that off, actually, you can grab again and come to the center. And you want to make sure your feet don't angle in. Just try to keep your feet back and just gently, gently stretch. Hold that for 30 seconds. You always want to do a static stretch at the end if you're going to stretch at all. You want to save the static stretch and hold to the end when you're fully warmed up when you start your workout, before you work out, you want to warm up, do a dynamic stretch where you're twisting and swinging, and then you want to end with a static stretch. In probably 3 videos from now, we're going to do a whole dynamic stretching workout. But for now, we'll just finish up with this. Now, to come out of this, which is something most people overlook, you don't want to just bring your legs together because you're using muscles that were just stretched. You want to gently keep everything about stretching gentle. You want to back yourself up. So you want to back up, which is going to naturally bring your legs together, and just keep it super smooth. Thanks for watching. I'm Cory, and you are Fit Over 50.